Are live here. Boom. My God, that dog. My God, that dog. Okay, that works. My God, that dog. Okay, that. Okay. Just checking so everything. So this is the first time I'm trying to multi-stream just to see if it works, but doesn't seem to work on YouTube. Because I for some reason I set it up as a delay, and because at some point I've streamed poker on this, and that's why it was a delay. And it seems like the YouTube channel doesn't really pick this up. There we go. Let's see if I am live on this, and that's why it was a delay. And it seems, yeah, it looks like I'm actually live on this one now. Might be a minute's delay. I had to deal with one thing, so I'll be right back here. I'm just gonna pause the audio here a little bit. So I'll be right back, or I put it on starting soon. All right, we are. Don't start. Get a dog that don't like me to just talk. How you doing, everybody? Hope you're having a good day. Stop, Coltrane. Stop. Will you have to spend the afternoon outside? And I don't think you want that because it's raining. All right, so what are we gonna do today? We are going to make a main menu for my online game, or my mobile game. It's just a simple mobile game here. This is the first level where we are, let's see, tilting a table, collecting coins, and so on. So it's pretty simple. only have a few levels, and this is the first one. Very simple first level. Let's go. Let's do this. And 7, and come on, get me one more point, and we're gonna go. We'll get a level win, and we go to the next level, etc., etc., etc. All right, so that's pretty simple. So we're gonna make a main menu, and we're gonna create it with a common UI. What's one thing I wanted to do here before we start? I'm gonna bring out my chat here just in case somebody says something. It would be nice to pop that out. I'm gonna get my paperwork here so I see what's happening. So I created a PDF that you can download, but that's going to be on my patrons page. And so I created this, create a main menu with a common UI with step-by-step all the way through. So we're going to follow this and do it. So let's start out. Okay, I have to put him outside. I'm gonna do that. I should have done that before I started here, but give me 1 second, and then we can start. All right, there we go. So we're gonna use the common UI system. That's gonna help us. I already use it in my game for my textiles. If you know how to use it. But basically we're using the same textile on all these things, and therefore we don't, if we need to update the color on all three, on the level name, on the coins, and on the counter here, then we can do it in one place and don't have to go to all these different places and update them. We'll just update them locally. And now the second dog start to, there you go in there, have fun. All right, so we're gonna first of all create a new level here. So we're gonna call, well, main menu or something like that. So we're gonna create a new level, an empty level, create, and yes, save that one, that's fine. And I'm gonna go into our content, go into maps here just to make sure that we save it correctly, and save current level, main menu, save that there. Okay. All right. She says, why is all the dogs start to, they don't say jack shit the entire afternoon, and then I start streaming, and the first thing they do is like, hello. All right, let's see. So we have already installed the plugin, of course, here, and yeah. So let's start with creating a game mode for this. Front end here. I'm gonna go into controllers, and I'm gonna create a new game mode. So I'm gonna go to blueprint and game mode base. I'm gonna call this front end game mode. Okay, and then we're gonna create a front end play controller. Khaleesi, knock it off. That is, there's nothing in that bowl. Can you please stop? So a front end play controller. All right. Let's see, and we are going to save all first of all, and I'm going to go into our front end game mode, and we're just going to make sure that our front end player controller is done what we use here. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to go into game mode override here on the world settings, and I'm going to choose the front end game mode as the one, and then we see that our front end player controller is already selected there. Cool, so that is that. Okay. Now, the second thing we want to do is we want to have 4 buttons on our main our main menu, and it's going to be new game, load game, quit game, and an option button. And we want to have an enum that selects whatever you press. We're going to have an enum telling the rest of the scripts that this button has been pressed. So we're going to go into our enums, and we're going to create an enum. So we're going to go into blueprints, and then we're going to do enumerations, and we're going to call this button choices. Let's go into that, and we're going to create some new states here. The first one is going to be new game, and I'm going to have one called load game, and we're going to have one that's called options, and I'm going to have one called quit game, or just quit, could be good. And then we're going to have a default that we always want to have, just in case something happens, so you don't have you get a push and none of these are going to happen. Then you have a default, and you can send off an error message to your screen, just to make sure that everything is working as it should. All right, so we can close down this. That's all we need to do there. So we're going to start creating some style sheets for the different text and button look, background look, and so on. So I'm going to go into, let's go to HUDs. We're going to create a new folder called main menu. And let's create a new folder here called styles. Styles. All right. And the first style here, we're going to have 2 text styles sheets, 1 button style sheet and 1 border style sheet is what we're going to have. Let's start with the text style sheet, and that will be affecting the button text. So we're going to have one called generic button text style, and it's going to be of a type called common, common text style. So let's see, is it common text? Yeah, common text style. That's the one we want. And we're going to call it generic button text style. Button text style. Okay, I'm going to open this guy up. And so this is all the regular stuff you get in a text style. When you putting a text element into your widget, this is what you get, but you get it on the side. Here we just add it straight away. So we're going to start with, this is going to be an Android game, so we need everything to be a little bit bigger than normally on the screen. It will look very, very big on the screen, but if you sit with a small phone, of course you're gonna need to have the buttons a bit bigger than on a regular game. So we're going to put the size to 60, and then we're going to have an outline size here, and they're going to be 9. And we're going to use a drop shadow. Let's see, use drop shadow. And we're going to place this to, let's see, X9 and Y9. And we're going to go into shadow color. And this is very important. We need to change the alpha here to 1. Otherwise, you won't see the drop shadow. And then we're going to change the font and the font family. Let's see. I have downloaded one from 1001 free fonts. And I'm going to use something called Metal Lord font. That's the one I've been using throughout the game. I'm just going to save that. I'm going to close it. And then we're going to create a second one. So we're going to hold down the... No, we're not holding down anything because that was in another program. I've been working on so many different programs over the last couple of days. It's crazy. We are dragging and copy here. In the other program was like hold Alt and drag, that's why. So we're going to rename this, and we're going to name this generic prompt header text. So this is going to be the header of the prompt, because we're going to have like a button for new game, and then when you press that, it's going to come up a prompt to say, hey, do you really want to start a new game? So that's going to be a yes and no question with 2 buttons. So we're going to have a header that's going to be the text. Do you really want to know? Do you really want to do this? Do you know, are you sure? So then going to be called a generic prompt header text. Generic prompt header text. Let's see, style. Got it. Name it style, right? So it's going to basically be the same, but we need it to be a bit bigger than the... What does it look like when we're actually pressing the button? And I want that to be a little darker.